Ooh. All right. Let's see if this is working. It seems. Whoa. Okay, I'm live. Yay, great. Okay. Hi everyone. Oh fuck, I should add a new scene. Wait. So this is the very first time that I'm actually setting up how's that? I'm streaming for it's oh my god, first time in a year. What do I call it? Webcam done. Add source. Webcam. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this like right now. I am not good at this yet. I'm a little bit out of practice. How do I do this? Video capture device. Add source. Can you see this? I don't know. Add source. Yay. Okay. Hi. All right. The plan for today is to write a parser. Wait, hold on. Live scene. Live scene. All right, great. All right. So the plan for today is what I want to do is I want to write a parser for Netlify's redirects file. So what this does is, so if you don't know what Netlify is, wait, can you see me? Yeah, you can see me. Okay, great. So if you don't know what Netlify is, it's a static file hosting thing. It's kind of convenient. I recently moved my blog over, and that's kind of cool. And a thing that I really wanted, or a thing that sort of stood out for me, was that they have this file format where you can just add redirects. It's been something that I've been wanting to have for quite a while now. Oh, I think my partner just came home. All right, a little bit hectic, but this is a file format where you can specify redirects, and basically the way it works is, for example, you can say /home will now redirect to / my blog post PHP will now redirect to this other thing. So as you build out your website, you just keep adding. Or as you get more redirects, you just keep adding to this file, and that's good. Encoding this in source is oftentimes not really great because I don't know. Yeah, kind of gets lost in the noise. So yeah, is there anything really more to say about this? Oh yeah, I guess it's actually like a proper format. It's got comments this way. It's got query param stuff that you can do. Is there an example here? I guess not. But so the query param stuff is kind of like this, like /foo bar equals baz or something, and then /bar/baz. And that says like from /foo capture the query string, so this will match /foo. Or what is it? Something like that. Something like that. We can look it up in a second. Oh. Oh my god. Okay, I need to up the font size. Up the font size. Font size. Font. Editor font. Zoom in. Alright. Hopefully that's a little bit more readable. Yeah. So the idea is that you can hello, and then this will redirect to /bar/hello or something like that. That's part of the syntax. So this is then finally they support another thing, which is adding status code at the end. So 301 or 307, and then put together like this you add to all these lines. So it's you pretty much read it line by line, and that makes for a pretty interesting format. Hello. All right. Hopefully you get the idea. Interesting. All right. My Vim plugin for VS Code is giving all sorts of errors. Also, my CPU is extremely low. I'm really surprised by how good this is. Anyway, that's the file format. It's got some other stuff. I don't really want to do everything here because it ends up being kind of complex. Does it say anything here about it? I don't know. But yeah, for now, what I would like to do is more or less figure out like, hey, is this a comment? Then ignore it, and do some basic redirect stuff. And we can do it asynchronously, which is nice because then we can give it an async read and we can work from there. So we'll be doing a little bit of future stuff. Yeah. Oh, wait. So let's dig in. First things first, we'll likely need cargo add async stud, and then we'll also add do we? Yeah, whatever. Oh, I don't have, okay. Github.com or no, crates.io / crates / omnom. So the cargo add command comes from a from a tool called cargo edit, which is really nice. Something happened. What happened? Oh, someone started following me. Thanks for the follow. I am Choco. Cool. I don't know. I've never heard that sound before, so that's great. I was like, what is that? Yeah. Where was I? All right. So cargo edit is a little tool that allows you to edit your TOML file. So I wanted to add some dependencies, but apparently it doesn't work. So let's do it manually for now. So we're going to dependencies. Can we paste that? Yeah, we can paste that. And the other dependency we want is async stud. Actually, I already know it's 1.4.0. Oh. Async stud 1.4.0. There we go. All right, great. Cool. Now we have these cargo build or cargo check, doesn't really matter. So that we install them from the network. We should see our CPU spike a little bit. All right. Ooh, and my mouse is lagging. This is really interesting. I've never streamed on the Windows computer before, so it's very intriguing. All right. So back to the plan. Actually, what is the... Okay, great. So I guess step one is describe the grammar. Step two is write the... You know what? Write some tests. Step three. What is step three? Write the parser for done. Something like that. I don't know. We'll see how far we get. I'd like to time box the stream too. I don't know, about an hour. It's 3 p.m. now until 4 p.m. ish. So let's see how far we get. Great. So in source lib, this is just my standard template. Nothing much going on here. It does some extra checks and stuff. Wait, hold on. Can I up this screen? Oh, it doesn't snap to screen. Ooh, sorry. Okay. All right, there we go. That's a little bit more readable. Maybe if we do this. As you can see, brand new streaming setup. All right. How's this sound, by the way? How's everyone doing, by the way? I see 4 people are in the stream. Welcome, everyone. All right. Yeah. If people have like general Rust questions, like please just shoot and interrupt me. I'm like happy to answer anything. I have like no pretense that we'll actually finish this. So yeah. All right. Oh, a little bit of background why this might be useful is so I'm working on this framework called Tide. It's a server framework. And there's a thing called redirects. Redirect here. So it's a really quick example. Is this readable on stream? I might even up it just slightly. All right, there we go. So if you look here, you create a new app, and then, for example, at /nori, we say tide redirect to /. So this will create a 307 temporary redirect to this URL, and that's great. That's nice for like really fast. For ad hoc redirects, etc. Okay, it doesn't do that. But if you have all these encodings inside of your routes, then I don't know, you might end up with like 20 routes that don't really do anything, that kind of need to stick around. It's not super. So instead, by being able to like declare them inside of a file and like be able to rewrite your query params, etc., it's much more powerful and generally just more useful. So that's what we'll do today. We'll do the parser, and then a different time we'll create the integration with Tide or something. All right. So our dependency is successfully installed, which is great. We're running Rust 1.40, which is a recent one. Yeah, most recent one. Yeah. 1.41 comes out next week, I believe. Yeah. So, okay, declaring the grammar. So generally, I've never declared a grammar before. So let's just pretend I actually know what I'm doing. So generally, it's like a line-based thing. So each line is separate. That kind of matters. So you don't have multi-line statements, or you don't need to do anything like that. So we can just parse it as a single line. If we look at it, then you can generally describe it as URL 1, URL 2. If we use the right terminology, it's called from, it's called to, from, URL or something, and that's another URL. Doesn't really matter what they are as long as they like start. They don't even like need to, like there's no rules to this. It just needs to more or less look like a string, and then we're happy. We don't need to do any extra parsing there, I think. Unless I guess we might. I don't know. Whatever. For now, let's just assume that they're completely formed URLs, not like partials or whatever. And then after that, let's do the simplest form, which is optional. Whatever. I'm just going to use this for optional from JavaScript. Status code or status code or 307. Let's default to that. No, I believe the default is 301. So from URL to URL, status code 301. The other option is a comment or something. So we'll want to create a parser that like can read through that. So I don't know. For now, that's async function parse. What does it take? It takes a reader, impl async read. Impl read. Use async stud prelude star. So we get our async read acts. Async stud io prelude star. I believe that's it. And then to do. And let's look at this. What does it say? Okay, everything works. Great. So make this public. We say parse a reader into a valid, into a redirects struct. All right. So maybe what we actually want is a struct called redirect. Right. We don't do anything here. And we'll make this a method on it instead. So impl redirect. Oh, damn. All right. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. All right. Great. And now that works. It's asking for us to derive debug there. Damn. Okay. Like that. Cool. So now that we have a reader here, did I say, what's the plan again? Write some tests. Okay, great. Cool. So we have a little test file over here. Now that we know what we're going to do is use redirect. Was that the name? Yeah, that's what we called it. So test. Actually, we can do async stud test, but we're not going to for now. Is function can have a comment or whatever parses let's just create a little test file next to it. New folder. What do you call them? Fixtures. New file. Rects. Base. Redirects. Something like this. What does it include? Or let's rename it to comment. Rename. Comment. So there's a comment and then our test.rs file. We will need to parse that comment. So use async.fs. Read file, I believe. So we're going to read the file into a buffer, and then we're going to pass that buffer into the parser. No, we're going to pass that buffer into a IO cursor. We're going to read that cursor inside of our parser, and then we're going to verify that I can actually read a line with a comment in it without breaking. So does that make sense to people? So fs, and then we say read. Oh, we just say read, and it gives us a vec. Okay. So fs read dot slash fixtures slash comment. Wait, we need to do this into async std block on async block. Let buff equals like that. Then we make this return an IO result, something like that, something like that. All right, like that. All right, so now we have an async function that does this thing. Let's see what happens if we run the test. Oh, an error occurred. Found argument /d, which wasn't expected. Cargo test. Something's broken. What's broken? Cannot find function block on. All right, great. So it's task block on. Let's run the test again. Oh, cargo test. All right, so our okay, confine file fixtures comment. Rihanna channel points. Oh, hey. Also, welcome to the stream. It's nice for you to be here. I'm actually really glad you're here. All right. So what happens if we do this? I forgot to do paths in Windows. I think it re-escapes the backslash, so that should be okay. Fixtures comment. Maybe it's like test /fixture /comment. Let's try this because it works from the root. Yeah, that's it. All right, great. Cool. So we're successfully reading that file. Oh, I think this will do nothing because the thing suppresses the thing. I say that? Yeah. It's not printing anything. All right. -- no capture. And there we go. Something's happening there. There's a comment. Okay, great. So it's printing the buffer, which is what we expected. Cool. Now we have that. All right. So next step is we're going to pass this through our, going to create a IO cursor from it. So for people who don't know, cursor is you can take a buffer, so like a vec of sorts, and you can turn it into a thing. Actually, this is silly. We should just open a file and read the file. All right. So we'll just stream out the thing instead. So instead of reading it into a buffer and passing the buffer, we just stream the file. Great. So the way we do it is file open. There's no shorthand here. So we say fs file open, open, open. Yeah, there we go. So that file is fs file open, like that. And now we have file. And now we can read the file out, basically. Great. And now we can pass this to our thing. So we can do let parser. No, what do we call the thing? Redirect. Redirect new. Here we go. Oh, and then we pass the file. Oh, damn it. And we pass the file. Okay, great. Crow test. There we go. Function associate item not found in redirect redirects. Okay, that makes sense because we're not returning anything. So this should panic. Oh, and we called it parse. But let's make it return self. So self like that. That's how you return your own thing. So this is an initializer thing. If there's any JavaScript people here, just a complete newbie thing. This is the same as new object in JavaScript. But the rest, it's an associate method. But it's a static one, so it's kind of like writing that. So that's how you create an initializer. It's just a method you declare. Yeah. Cool. So let's run our test again. Oh. Are the tests readable, by the way? Is the font size good? Is everyone comfortable? Rihanna says, object new, hello Ruby. Oh my God, really? Is that the way you do? Oh my God. I don't know Ruby. I'm always like a little bit surprised by like the suffix syntax kind of thing. I don't know. All right, cool. So now we have instance of self, but we want to have. Also, hey Jacob, nice to see you stream. Rihanna says that's the way. You're right in Ruby. Yeah, I've also never written Ruby, so I know either. Okay. Ooh. So let's store this inside of our thing. So what I have here is, for now, we're just gonna use a box. Can we do? Yeah, we'll just do this. I think here for readers we do a box async read, or sorry, we're using the async traits. Read plus sized plus send plus sync. I don't know if we need unpin. Let's see what happens. Okay, we have lots of problems. So that's not working. Okay. All right. So if you've done like any future stuff at all, errors like these are not uncommon. We show them in the regular terminal output also. Additional non-auto trade, din read, size, send, sync. So what happens if we add din here? Terminal. I guess this is still building. All right, so that still breaks. Yes. Great. Box new, box sized, send, sync. Let's say unpin. I always forget. I have a few examples that I refer to, but they're part of secret projects that I can't share right now. So, oh, I can open them on this laptop. Hold on. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do is figure out the right trait here for this to work. Open in VS Code. No, I want the other one. There's some code I can't show you yet. Open in VS Code. Hold on. It's a little bit of a slow stream today, I guess. Lib. Is there any box bin, exception, reader? Guess I don't know how to do this anymore. That's okay. Oh, it's a pin box, of course. So it's a pin of a box of a read plus size, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see what happens now. Can't find type pin in scope, so we're going to use std pin. Doesn't implement debug, so we get rid of debug there just to see what happens. Trade without din don't work anymore, so we add din there. Only auto traits can be used, so we can't add sized, but we can do that. This needs to be sized. Can we? No, that's only for traits. All right. So we no longer set that restriction. So what happens now? I found type parameter. So box pin reader. It's complaining about this type not matching up with that. The parameter impl type impl read may not live long enough. All right. So that is now a question. All right. So what we do here now, unpin, or actually, yeah, plus n plus sync plus static. So we say, hey, the lifetime of reader needs to be lived like forever. And now this will compile. What's left is implementing a manual debug thing. So we'll need to do a format. Actually, let's see if this works again. Derive debug. Please work. This might just like not, yeah, it doesn't work. All right, so we'll need to do a manual debug implementation for redirect. So we're going to use std font self comma debug. So if my rule set up here, that warns if we don't implement debug for a type, which makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you don't want to implement display, but you pretty much always want to implement debug. So it's useful, at least for me. Then function format, and I believe takes n self comma no type hints. Any hints? Okay, great. Nothing there. Configure. Okay, we trust that domain, and then we open the link. Great. So okay, so yeah, that's accurate. And then we take f, which is a mutable font formatter, which takes anonymous lifetime and returns format results of unit, and then that's it. And then from here we say f dot finish or f dot debug struct. I'm just looking at these examples here at the right. The thing is called redirect finish, which returns a result. Wrong number of types. So what's this error? Expected type argument got none. What? Rihanna says Twitch chat type hints are too slow. Yep. Entirely true. Also, yeah, just putting what do you call it? Unpin on stuff usually is pretty good usually. All right. Former result has no type parameter. Oh, it doesn't. Ha. Okay, yeah, thank you. I didn't realize that. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Great. Now this works. Now we have a debug implementation there. This complains about like not being public code. Field is never used. Reader. Yeah, that's fair. Cool. So now we can abstract over the reader. And I guess we can parse it. So pub async fn parse or something. Maybe it's like a kind of weird thing where we should just parse in a single go, and the parse function should live here. So we just keep the reader as part of this, and this was all kind of like for not. Yeah. Anyway, let's pretend for now that that's all not true. So we take nmute self, going to turn IO result for good measure. parse the reader, because for some reason we might like not want to parse in a single go. Instead, like do something else. Cool. So what we do now here is we are gonna walk over it line by line. Actually, what I want to do is we should put this inside of a buff reader, which will allow us to actually walk over it line by line. And then we say buff reader there. I believe this works. And use async std io buff reader, like that. Cool, and that gives us another error that I don't want to deal with. Yay, thanks for a subscribe, whoever just subscribed. I appreciate it. Or follow. I don't know what the right terminology is. Jacob Minchka is now following. Yay, great. Thank you. Okay, so this is where debug time comes into play. Oh wow, I didn't realize it would do that. Okay. Let's buff reader. We're just gonna like put it inside of buff reader right here. Yay, Jacob's following. Thank you. Wait. Yeah, okay. It all shows up. Reader new. Oh, this is not gonna work because we're not taking ownership. All right. This thing consumes the thing, and then we just do that. Buff reader new reader, self.reader. Let's see if this works. I think it should. I'm unsure if it does. It does not work. That's very unfortunate. Maybe if we do that, .as mute, because box has as ref on it, I believe. That also doesn't work. Okay, we're just gonna, it's gonna be a little bit salty and remove reader from there. So we don't construct reader anymore. And we just do a parser directly here. And then we just pass reader here. And we just say like, hey, there's an async function that constructs and parses in a single go for whatever file you give it. Oh, Jacob Mishka has a question about async. So yeah, go. I'll continue typing and I'll just read when you're ready. Cool. So now we have buff reader. Here, this needs to be mutable. Because we're going to do some stuff with it in a sec. Cool. And then we want to start parsing it line by line. So like we said, this is the file we're trying to parse. It starts with a comment. That's all it does. So all we're going to do for now is parse comments, which isn't too bad. So I wrote this little helper library for writing async parsers in Rust. It's called omnom, as a pun on nom, which is a far better library. But I don't know, I was experimenting. I was a little bit lazy about names. I thought it was funny. Not sure if it makes sense, but whatever. So what I'll be doing now is we have a buff readx here. We have a few methods, but which one's the one we want? I think it's buff read x. So what we want to do is we essentially want to split the stream into new lines, and then iterate over each line, parse each line. I don't even think we need omnom. So in async std, the buff read thing should have a split method. Buff reader, and I think it's part of buff read trait. So implementation buff read, and then we look at the methods, and there's a split right here. So it returns the streams over the content of this reader split on the byte. So let lines equals buff. Oh, actually, we just want to split it on lines. Reader dot lines. And now we have a stream over each line. And then what we'll do is, while we're going to iterate over a stream. So if you've done iterators in Rust before, you could do for x in iter or in lines or something, and then like operate on the line. Async Rust doesn't have that yet. So we need to do a bit more convoluted version of that, which is for that sum line equals lines dot wait lines dot wait lines dot next dot await. I'm sorry. Dot await, like there. So this takes the next line and says like, hey, if this is sum, as long as this is sum, we'll wait in between, and then we get the next line. All right, so let's pause this 1 second. Let's get to Jacob's question, which is, if I have a bunch of futures, what's the Rust equivalent to JavaScript's promise all? I end up doing just a very gross series of try joins with nested tuples. But is stream the correct way to do that? That's a great question. So I wrote a thing for that. docs.rs/async macros that you may or may not want to use. And here's a thing called try join that kind of gives you, I think, what you want. So you can give it any number of futures. And it will create a singular tuple instead of multiple tuples. The way it's implemented is kind of fun also. But that will give you more or less what you want. Rihanna is suggesting using the join all function in futures util. What join all does though is it allocates a new vector, which is fine performance wise, but I don't know. The try join thing doesn't do that. The try join macro doesn't do that. Yeah, because we didn't have to. It took a bit more effort, but if you want to use it, here it is. Yeah, okay, great. So started to engage here with the question of Jakob, like, how can we join several futures? Like, I have several futures and I want to combine them. And can I create a new file? Is there any? Just gonna use this thing, little notepad. There's usually a question of like, okay, so you have several futures. The question before that is like, how did you get the several futures, right? Usually what happens is you have some form of variadic input, like lines in the stream, incoming requests, messages from something. And for each of those, you want to do a thing, and later you want to combine it into a single output or something like that. So the thing that, do I have my gist open still? Yeah. I wrote a blog post about this not too long ago, which is, I have quite a few blog posts. Stream concurrency, looking ahead, parallel streams, and then I link to a gist somewhere. Wait, we can just look at references. Gist. I think it's this one. Yeah. So what I would like us to do, par, is if we were able to like take a stream of inputs somehow, then we say in parallel, like map each of these things and then like collect the results later on. So the way you can do this, so in my blog post, I'll link to a gist is right here. This is a way you can implement that, more or less the same. It doesn't have quite a nice syntax, but it might be useful. Yeah, so you like process everything in a separate task and later on you join it using channels to recombine stuff. Maybe it comes in useful. All right. Good question. All right, back to writing this parser, I guess. We're about halfway through our time here. Right, so we're going to iterate over each of the lines, so we can parse the comment from this comment line. And then essentially what we do is, let's just print out each line. Also, let's create a quick example thing. New folder, examples, new file, example.rs or something. We'll just copy over our test. Sorry, the setup is like extremely new. There, that works. I think this should work. Great. And then we run the example, cargo run, example. No example named examples. Or what? Oh, it's in their source. Yes, move. Okay, then we try this again. Now this fails for reasons I don't know quite yet. Welcome to live stream debugging. Never do this in a conference talk. All right, so we can't do this because we need to add the unpinned bound to our thing. So we go here and we say sync unpin plus static, and we're going to try again. And we still don't get a thing. Come on. Let's take a look. Mismatch types. Unused imports. Well, that's expected struct redirect from nothing. Okay, so we'll just panic once we're done. It's because we're like not doing anything. Just do this. I think even like what's our return type here? Self. IO result of self. And then we do okay. Like that. Type annotations needed. You use async IO. If anyone has any other questions, like please shoot. I love answering questions. Oh, so new doesn't appear to be working anymore. Okay, there it goes. Cargo run example. Now it works. But is it doing anything? Unused stood results. That must be used. Doing stuff. All right, let's take a look. So each line returns a result of a line. So let line equals line. Bit of an annoying pattern. What we really want to be able to do here is for x.await or for line.await in buff reader.lines, like that. That would collapse all of these lines into a single thing. You could even like put buff reader new, like like that. That would be like just very nice, because then we've just collapsed like essentially the whole function here into like a single statement. Wait, like that. But yeah, we can't do that, so whatever. So debug line. Cool. Let's try again. Guess we're not printing anything. All the outputs are a little bit annoying. So that lines. Let's try yet again. Lines there. Okay. I guess we can just look at this. It's just passing, so cargo run. All right, so that's working. We don't have any docs for redirect, so let's fix that. A parse redirect file. Great. Unused variable redirect. Where's that variable? Unused. Test parses. Okay. Well, we do that. Unused import pin. Oh, no, apparently we're using pin. Great. So no more warnings. Oh, we still have a warning somewhere. pub struct redirect unused variable redirect. Wait, did it just like hit the cache? Yeah, it just hit the cache somehow. Did we just save that? All right. A little bit all over the place. Oh, it didn't. Okay, great. That's gone. Do I have cargo watch? I don't. That's unfortunate. So there's a cool runner called cargo watch, which actually works really well. We can get rid of pin there. So our thing's not printing anything. That's a little bit problematic. Slash unfortunate. Because we should be like printing every single line, and then we're not. So let's see what happens here. Nothing. So we go into a test. FS file open, redirect new, and what we should be doing is that there, because our future's not running. In examples, I mean. Okay, and then we run that again. Cool. And now we're actually printing the line. That's good. Cool. So we see this line. We see that starts with that symbol. So what we can now do is we go back to our parser and we say, okay, for each of the lines, we're going to parse a line. So the majority of stuff that happens will happen inside of this loop. All right. So here come the if statements, I guess. Parse comment. So what type is line? I forget. So this is going to break, which is great. Please break. Found struct string. Okay, that's good. So in string, I believe there's a cars method. Or starts with, or something like that. So let's take a quick look in the docs. Starts with pattern. So we can say starts with B, or the hash. So if line dot starts with, what's the thing we can give it? P pattern. I don't know what oh yeah, it can actually be a byte, which is actually quite efficient because we'll use the whatever, the cool find implementation, whatever that's called. Okay. And then we say that if line starts with that, continue memcr. Thank you, Raina. It's a really cool library. Expected closure. What? Expected a closure. Hold on. So line dot starts with. All right. So for now, let's turn it into this and see if that works, which should. It does. It actually works. That's great. All right, so that's a static string. It's not quite like a single byte. Starts with retain, remove, push, pop, len, insert. Yeah, whatever. We should have a starts with pattern. Pattern should be implemented for a single byte, in my opinion. So implemented for, I'm actually curious now. For stir, for F, where fun mute car bull. Yeah, it should just be a byte. I want it for a byte or a single car, but that's okay. Cool. Oh, actually, wait. If it's a single car, I want to see if I can make it. I've never used the character type. From byte. Try from U32. Try from, yeah. Oh, actually, no, that is a car. Yeah. Okay, fine. Whatever. Let's end. It's okay. It works. So parse comments. so now we'll successfully parsing our comment file and not doing anything with it. And that's fantastic because we should be ignoring comments. Okay, so Nikita V is asking, why Windows over Linux? The short answer is, on my desktop computer, which I built like end of last year, has a fancy CPU, like a Threadripper or something, 12 core or whatever. Oh, did my stream die? Hey, is my stream still up? Okay, no, it was just a glitch on my side. Okay, great. Okay, yeah. All right, sweet. Yay. So going back to this. Yeah. So, I was trying to get like Linux installed on my desktop, and I just couldn't get it working. Like Ubuntu would freeze. Arch I couldn't get to work. I was like, oh, maybe I can even like go and like try use NixOS, and just no. I even like got people that had been using like Linux for 20 years or something, and they were just like, Yosh, what are you doing? And I was like, yeah, what am I doing? So I installed Windows, and now I had Windows on my main computer, and I was like trying it out, which went like okay, and I discovered WSL, the subsystem, which was great. I don't know, at some point I was like, oh, that's very convenient. I had to reinstall Windows like 2 or 3 times for several reasons. And I don't know, I started liking it. I was like, oh, this is very nice. I don't have to maintain a complete operating system anymore. That frees me up to do other stuff. Also, thanks for follow, Vladinators. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the answer is convenience. I also have like a Mac Mini here in my office. I don't like the Mac OS at all anymore. It feels very restrictive. In a way, like Windows feels much more productive. It's kind of like what people use. What is it? 97% of the planet on their desktop uses Windows, but like old developers are using Mac OS, or old developers that I know of are using Mac OS and like Linux. So, you know, using Windows, it's good. Like dev environment feels pretty good these days. And I get to learn a bit about like the lower level APIs that Windows supports, which is great because very few people that I know of have that. In Rust, it feels like only Alex truly has a handle on all the Linux API or on all the Windows APIs. And then there's a few other people, but I don't know. We need more Windows users is the other thing. It's not the primary reason, but it's probably a good one. Anyway, hope to answer this question, and thanks for liking the stream. I'm glad you're all here. All right. I just realized that was a lot of words. I can do that sometimes, I guess. All right. So we're parsing this. Also, Rihanna says that this will likely optimize away to a car anyway, which is probably true. But, you know, still, it'd be great if we could say, hey, this is actually a car. Wait, did I prefix it with binary? Wait, hold on. If I just do this, does this work? Yeah, okay, this works. So I was doing this, which is the same as passing a U8. So that doesn't work. But if we give it a character, just like that actually does work. Yay. Nikita is asking, ever tried coding with no syntax highlighting? Yes, because my Vim was broken, so I had to use V, and I had nothing installed, and it's pretty terrible. So syntax highlighting is really powerful because people work by looking at screens and recognizing patterns. Colors are often parts of that. It's just like you scan over the thing, you see a lot of purple, you're like, oh, that's a lot of function calls. Oh, I'm looking for a keyword. You start looking for the orange thing. It's how brains work. And I don't know. A lot of code highlighting isn't super, but yeah, I don't know. It helps me a lot. I think it helps most people a lot. And people such as whoever that Go person is, the Cox person or some other person who are like, it's for children. I think they're being very pedantic, and they should not comment on these kinds of things, in my opinion. Or I don't know, maybe they can, and we just shouldn't pay attention to what they're saying or whatever. I don't know of any research specifically about like syntax highlighting and like programming languages, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is. Rob Pike, yeah, see, there you go. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually like studies that show that this is better. I studied psychology and like a lot about in the first years about like Gestalt theory and like how do we perceive things and how do things matter, and that's like old science. So I don't know. It's pretty rigorous. It's not that. It's quite undisputed. And this seems to fall in that category where it's like, oh, we're now better able to recognize patterns. That's good. That makes life easier for us. Along those lines. All right. Cool. Next one. Cool. So what we're now going to do, so we can successfully parse a comment. Let's do the next one, which is like successfully parse left redirect to right redirect. So let's create a new file in our fixtures where we say new file, basic redirect. So we're just gonna copy this whole file over, paste. Great. So you'll see there's a comment here, and then there's a from and a to field. So we're going to do this, basic redirect, and then we're going to do this, and this should have been a no-op, which it is. Oh. Okay. Parses comment, or let's just call it comment, the same as the file. And then we say this is a, what do we call a basic redirect? Essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to have a vector of redirects internally. Oh, Jacob Misha says the try join macro worked great, and they're thankful. So yeah, I'm very glad. That was one terrible piece of code to write. If you were here like 30 minutes ago, you might know what we're talking about. Yay. Basic redirect. Okay, so now we have basic redirect, and we'll probably want to query some properties here. Don't know what they are yet. Maybe this thing should implement iterator over all the various redirects. We could even make it a stream over all the various redirects, though that would be terrible. Yeah, I don't want to do that to people. I think it should just like parse everything asynchronously and then have a list of redirects rather than like a stream over an async read, because that's terrible code to write. Yeah, like no one will have 1 gigabyte of redirects, so yeah, doing that is really not needed. Even making this thing asynchronous is really not needed, but it's a fun example, so that's why I'm doing that. Also, you can like see how to write a parser, I guess. Rihanna? No, it's not a challenge. It's really not a challenge. Like, I know people can do it. I've done it. Please don't go through that. at least not because, yeah. Although these days writing async Rust is a little bit nicer, especially on nightly, because the errors are actually good. Before, not so much. Also, if you're looking at the errors that I was like facing earlier, I'm guessing if you don't know what's going on, it's also pretty terrible. So, yeah. All right. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is what we're essentially going to say is we have a string, Oh, 1 gig of redirects. Oh my God. Jesus. Yeah, no. please do not do that. Like, don't make me. Yeah. Line starts with, that's like enough to redirect half the internet, I feel. So what we're going to do now is we're going to split this thing on white space, which makes the most sense. So the parser that we're writing is reasonably efficient because we're already buffering everything to buffers here. I'm unsure how the lines are being constructed. I forget. But what should be happening is that we're reusing memory somehow from the reader. Then we interpret that as UTF-8. And then we give you that string, the allocated string. So here's string, here's string, here's string. And now if we split that up into multiple references, then we can actually do something with it. And then from there, you can do more or less 2 different things. So if we have a string or something, right? Wait, hold on. I want to explain this thing that I was thinking about, but I don't have a good pattern for yet while I was on vacation. So you like imagine that this is our string, right? That we get here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to split this line into several blocks, or by white space or something. Now what you can have is the original string, and have a reference. I'm explaining this, okay? So answer. I'm not explaining this correctly. Never mind. All right, let's just split this thing based on new lines. So then we have a string, core format, string, splits off at, no, split, no, read until, retain. That's annoying. Yeah, what we should be doing is like taking this string and converting it into a thing. Can we do it with cursor actually? Cursor. So stdio cursor new, which takes a cursor of t, and then cursor should be implemented for read of string. All right, so let's try this. Actually, does lines implement anything interesting? Lines. I know I'm talking to myself right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, it doesn't implement any more methods. It just gives us lines. Okay. So let cursor equals stdio cursor new cursor, and then we now have this, and then we say split at. All right, so what's annoying here is that we have a double white space, which is perfectly legal. So what we want to do is split over each instance of like this white space. So there's like 3 white spaces here, and that becomes our gap. I guess what we can do is like split by white space, and then if it's not if it's a buffer of size 0, we discard it. It's not the most efficient parser, but it'll get the job done. Cursor dot split let chunks equals cursor split. Let's see if this works. Method not found. Cursor split buff read. Okay, so we do something terrible. Buffering split cursor like that. So we're doing like this application where parsing this self item. It needs to be a byte, so a U8. Cannot find cursor in this scope. Cursor. Oh, so I guess we passed line there. Does it work now? Use of moved value line. All right, so we removed that there. And then cursor doesn't need to be mutable. Okay, that's great. Cool. So now we have our individual chunks. And then now this implements iterator rather than like stream. So for chunk in chunks, debug chunk. Right. Oh, debug chunk. Sorry. All right. Cargo run example. So let's see what happens. Cool. Now we have a chunk. That's great. Yeah. Okay. So that's from bytes. String from UTF-8. We already know that this is valid. The unwrap. Now we'll say that this becomes strings. That these are the individual chunks, right? And what we're going to do is now we're just going to filter them. If chunk.len is empty a thing. If we have a vec empty, vec. Oh, vec is empty. So if chunk is empty, continue. And now we're going to run this again. We'll see all the new lines are gone. Oh, damn it. All right, so we need to do let chunk equals chunk. Then remove that one there, and then we can run it again. And now it will work. So Flatlanders is asking, what does debug do? So debug is like this. Is about the same as printing print line. All right. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But essentially like line, file, and then my value, and then here, that's pretty much the implementation of that. But it also takes ownership, so you can like use it inline. So if I want to debug chunk here, I could do this, right? And if you look at the output, you can see the output of the line and the file where it was from, and that's like really useful in many cases. So I just use it when debugging, because a print line sometimes legit to have. Debug is never intended. It sort of signals that you should be removing it, stripping it out when you're done. So string from UTF-8, and as you can see, blog my old title, blog my new title, right, and new redirect. If we were really good about things, then we could even collapse these things, deduplicate them, because we're seeing blog my old title redirects to this one, and then this one. Oh snap. Oh, we need to create a hash map that is keyed by these, and then we overwrite them so that these things are overridden. Great. Luxio, thank you. That's a nice thing to say. I guess I'm hiding it here. All right, now it's gone. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm looking at the bottom corner here, that's where chat is. So yeah, thanks chat. All right, so that's what debug does. And now this works. And what we need to do is we need to store our redirects and key them by input, so we can like keep overriding them. So if we like have a even better title, wait, hold on here, right? Oh, what? This rule will never trigger because the previous rule triggered. Triggers first. All right. So, okay, let's switch it around. What we need is a set where we track which things we've already like had, and then we override them. Or we leave it up as a challenge for whoever's applying this. But we can just like have a set and be like, oh, well, remove this thing. Or we'll ignore this rule. Or something like that. Yeah, let's just do that for now. Or we should think about the output. Actually, we're almost like at time. What do I want to do? Yeah, I said I'd stop after an hour. Okay. Maybe I should. Great. Yeah, you know what? Let's commit this. Let's see if anything shady pops up here. Okay. So what we did, we added cargo toml. We wrote a little example here. We wrote a little plan. We're not going to commit that. Then we wrote this code. It's kind of fun. A little basic redirect example, comment, and a test. Init project, whatever. Commit to master. Push to origin. Ignore all the warnings. Discard changes. Yes, we discard those changes, and that's it. We have now successfully committed all of our work. So what we have is we're like successfully iterating over all the chunks. We're successfully parsing and ignoring comments. More or less the steps from here would be to so we have each individual chunk. We would then start actually displaying them somehow with the redirect rules, so that an integration could be written where we're like, oh, these are the query params on the left side, here are the query params on the right side. This is how you rewrite this is how you rewrite that. Yeah. It's just a parser. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for now. Going to a show later. My partner came home midway through a stream, so I gotta go and say hi. Wait, hold on. I can do a full screen face. Hi. All right. Yeah. What else? I might do one of these again, maybe next week, maybe some other time. Haven't decided yet. At least not. I won't like let it be like another year before I do this. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope this was useful. Let me know if you like have any questions for next time. And yeah. All right. See you. It was good. Bye.